7 cancer-fighting foods every person over 60 must eat. Let me tell you something your doctor has probably never said out loud. Right now, inside your body, microscopic cancer cells are forming. Not might be, not could be. Right now, every single person watching this has them. You do. I do. Everyone. Now, before you panic, hear me out, because this is actually good news once you understand what I'm about to tell you. Your body was designed to fight these cells. Every single day, automatically, without you even thinking about it, your immune system patrols your body around the clock, finds these dangerous cells, and destroys them before they can grow into anything serious. It's been doing this your entire life. The problem is, after 60, that patrol system starts getting tired. Think of it like a security guard who's been working for 60 years straight. He's still showing up, he's still trying, but he's not as sharp as he used to be. He misses things he would have caught at 30. He moves a little slower. He needs support. And here is the most important thing I will say in this entire video. You can give him that support. Through food. Not expensive supplements. Not complicated medical procedures. Food. Specific foods that have been proven, in real studies, on real people, to wake that security guard back up and make him effective again. Today I'm going to walk you through 7 of them. I'll tell you what each one does in plain language. I'll tell you exactly how much to eat and how to prepare it correctly. And I'll tell you who needs to be careful with each one. This is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor about your personal health. But what I'm sharing is real, researched, and it could genuinely change things for you. Let's start by understanding what's actually happening in your body after 60 and why these 7 foods matter so much right now. Why after 60 is the critical window. Your body has 3 main ways it protects you from cancer. I want to explain each one simply because once you understand them, you'll understand exactly why every food on this list works. Protection number 1. Your internal police force. Inside your body, you have special immune cells whose only job is to find and kill dangerous cells, including cancer cells. Scientists call them natural killer cells. Let's just call them your police force. When you were younger, your police force was fast, aggressive, and highly effective. It caught most threats before they became problems. After 60, this police force starts to shrink and slow down. Studies show it can lose up to half its effectiveness between the ages of 40 and 70. That means threats that would have been caught and destroyed at 40 are now slipping through. The good news? Several foods on this list directly reactivate and strengthen these cells. They essentially call the police force back to attention. Protection number 2. Your body's fire control system. Inflammation is like a fire inside your body. A small, controlled fire is useful. It helps heal wounds and fight infections. But a fire that never goes out? That slowly burns everything around it. After 60, many people have a low-level fire burning inside them constantly. You can't feel it, there's no pain, but it's there, slowly damaging cells, weakening defenses, and creating conditions where cancer finds it much easier to survive and grow. Researchers call this inflammation that comes with aging. It's driven by processed foods, stress, poor sleep, and years of wear and tear. Every food on this list helps put out that fire. Protection number 3. Your body's ability to starve cancer. Here's something fascinating that most people don't know. A cancer cell, even a dangerous one, cannot grow into a real tumor unless it finds a way to feed itself. And to feed itself, it needs to grow its own blood vessels, like building its own private pipeline to steal nutrients from your body. Your body normally controls this process tightly. It decides when new blood vessels are allowed to grow and when they're not. After 60, this control system weakens. Cancer cells get better at tricking your body into building them a blood supply. And once that pipeline is built, a tumor can grow extremely fast. Several foods on this list specifically block cancer's ability to build that pipeline. They essentially cut off the food supply before the tumor can get established. Now, with those three things in mind, let's go through the 7 foods. Food number 1, turmeric, the golden spice that fights cancer on 3 fronts simultaneously. Turmeric is the bright yellow spice used in curry. It's been used as medicine for over 4,000 years across Asia and the Middle East. For a long time, Western medicine dismissed this as superstition. Then scientists started studying it seriously, and what they found changed a lot of minds. The active ingredient in turmeric is called curcumin. Think of curcumin as the worker inside turmeric that does all the actual work. It is one of the most studied natural cancer-fighting compounds in the world, with thousands of research papers published on it. Here's what it actually does in your body in simple terms. It turns off your body's inflammation alarm. Imagine your body has a fire alarm that, after 60, keeps going off even when there's no real fire. This constant false alarm creates that damaging chronic inflammation we talked about. Curcumin goes directly to that alarm and turns it off. It calms the inflammatory response throughout your entire body, in your joints, your blood vessels, your gut, everywhere. It tells damaged cells to destroy themselves. Every cell in your body has a self-destruct button. When a cell becomes too damaged or mutated, dangerous, it's supposed to press that button and die cleanly before it can cause harm. Cancer cells learn to disable this button. They become immortal. They just keep dividing and multiplying instead of dying like they should. Curcumin has been shown to restore that self-destruct button in cancer cells. It essentially reminds them that they're supposed to die. It cuts off cancer's food supply. Remember how cancer needs to build its own blood vessels to grow? Curcumin blocks the signal cancer sends to start that construction process. No signal, no blood vessels. No blood vessels, no growth. The critical problem and the simple fix. Here's where most people go completely wrong with turmeric. If you just sprinkle it on your food or stir it into hot water, your body absorbs almost none of it. Less than 1% actually gets into your bloodstream. The rest just passes straight through you. It's like buying the most powerful medicine in the world and then throwing most of it in the bin. The fix is simple, and it involves 2 things sitting in your kitchen right now. First, black pepper. Just a small pinch of black pepper added to your turmeric increases absorption by up to 2,000%. Not 20%, 2,000. There's a compound in black pepper that essentially opens the door for turmeric to enter your bloodstream. Second, any fat. Turmeric needs fat to be absorbed. Coconut oil, olive oil, whole milk, any of these work. Without fat, most of the curcumin still can't get through your gut wall into your blood. The recipe that works? 1 teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, mixed into warm milk, regular or plant-based, before bed. This is called golden milk. It takes 2 minutes to make. Drink it every night. The difference between drinking turmeric with black pepper and fat versus without it is the difference between this actually working and doing almost nothing. Who should be careful? If you take blood-thinning medication like warfarin, large amounts of turmeric can make it work even stronger. Talk to your doctor first. If you're currently going through cancer treatment, also check with your oncologist before significantly increasing turmeric. Food number 2, blueberries. 1 cup every day. The simplest habit on this list. Blueberries look ordinary, small, sweet, easy to overlook. But inside that little berry is a concentration of protective compounds that researchers have been genuinely excited about for 2 decades. Let me explain what happens inside your body when you eat them regularly. They repair your DNA every single day. Your DNA is essentially the instruction manual for every cell in your body. Every day that instruction manual gets small amounts of damage, from sunlight, from pollution, from the simple process of your body converting food into energy. When you're young, your body has an excellent repair team that fixes this damage quickly and efficiently. After 60, that repair team slows down. Damage builds up faster than it gets fixed. And when too much damage accumulates in a cell, that's when things can go wrong. The dark blue pigment in blueberries, the stuff that stains your fingers, is packed with compounds that actively help your body's repair team work better. They don't just protect against new damage, they speed up the fixing of existing damage. Think of them as sending reinforcements to your body's repair crew every single day. They reactivate your body's cancer watchman. Inside every cell, there's a built-in watchman whose job is to check the cell's DNA, and if it finds serious damage, to stop that cell from dividing until it's fixed, or to shut the cell down entirely if it can't be fixed. In many cancers, this watchman gets silenced. Cancer essentially sneaks past the checkpoint. Compounds in blueberries have been shown to help wake this watchman back up, to restore the checkpoint function that keeps damaged cells from dividing unchecked. They slow down cellular aging. Blueberries activate proteins inside your cells that are linked to longevity and cellular health. These proteins, think of them as your cell's maintenance managers, become less active as we age. Blueberries are one of the most effective natural ways to reactivate them. Fresh versus frozen. The truth. Most people assume fresh is always better. For blueberries, this is not necessarily true. Frozen blueberries are picked at peak ripeness and frozen immediately, locking in their protective compounds. Fresh blueberries from a supermarket may have traveled thousands of miles, sat in cold storage for days, and lost a significant amount of their potency by the time they reach your bowl. Buy frozen if fresh quality is uncertain. The benefit is the same or better. How to use them. 1 cup daily, about a large handful. On oatmeal, in a smoothie, with yogurt, or eaten straight from the bag. It doesn't matter how you eat them. What matters is that you eat them every single day without fail. Consistency is everything with blueberries. 1 cup eaten daily for months does far more than 3 cups eaten occasionally. Food number 3, garlic. 2 to 4 cloves daily, but only if you prepare it correctly. Garlic is one of the most powerful foods on this entire list, and one of the most consistently misused. Large studies following tens of thousands of people over many years have shown the same pattern repeatedly. People who eat the most garlic have significantly lower rates of certain cancers, particularly colon, stomach, and prostate cancer. In one major study following over 40,000 women, those who ate garlic at least once a week had a 50% lower risk of colon cancer. 50% lower risk from a common kitchen ingredient. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Raw garlic from a jar does almost nothing. Garlic powder does almost nothing. Garlic thrown straight into a hot pan does almost nothing. Here's why. The compound that makes garlic so powerful, called allicin, doesn't actually exist in whole garlic. It only forms when garlic is damaged. When you crush or chop a garlic clove, you break open its cells, and 2 separate substances inside mix together and react to create allicin. Think of it like a glow stick. Nothing happens until you bend it and mix the chemicals inside. Garlic works the same way. Now here's the part most people miss. The reaction that creates allicin takes time, about 10 minutes, and it's destroyed by heat. So if you crush garlic and immediately throw it into a hot pan, the heat kills the reaction before allicin can fully form. You get almost none of the benefit. The correct method, and it takes 10 extra minutes. Crush or finely chop your garlic. Put it on your chopping board. Walk away for 10 minutes. Do something else. Come back. Now cook it, briefly on medium heat, for no more than 60 to 90 seconds. Or better yet, add it raw to a finished dish where possible. That 10-minute wait is the entire difference between garlic being a powerful cancer-fighting food and just being a flavoring. What allicin actually does in your body is remarkable. It wakes up your immune police force dramatically. It blocks cancer cells from dividing. It helps your body's natural defenses identify and attack abnormal cells more aggressively. Your family may notice your breath. That is a small price for what you're getting in return. Who should be careful? Garlic naturally thins the blood slightly. If you're on blood-thinning medication, large amounts of garlic can amplify that effect. Check with your doctor. People with acid reflux or stomach ulcers may find raw garlic irritating. Lightly cooked is gentler. Food number 4. Walnuts. A small handful daily. Raw, not roasted. Simpler than you think. Walnuts don't get nearly enough credit. Most people think of them as a snack. They are one of the most powerful anti-cancer foods available at any grocery store. Let me explain why in plain terms. They change what cancer genes are doing. This one is remarkable. Researchers in the United States gave men who were already diagnosed with prostate cancer a specific amount of walnuts every day for several weeks before their scheduled surgery. When they analyzed the tumor tissue after surgery, they found something extraordinary. The cancer genes in walnut-eating men were behaving differently. The genes that tell cancer to grow had become quieter. The genes that tell cancer cells to die had become louder. The walnuts had literally changed the instructions being read inside the tumor. This is not a theory. This was measured in actual human tumor tissue. They calm your body's internal fire. Walnuts are exceptionally rich in a type of healthy fat, omega-3, that is strongly anti-inflammatory. Most people eating a modern Western diet consume far too much of the inflammatory type of fat and far too little of the calming type. This imbalance is one of the biggest drivers of the chronic inflammation that makes cancer more likely to take hold. Eating a handful of walnuts every day is one of the simplest ways to start correcting that imbalance. Studies show that people who eat walnuts daily have measurably lower levels of inflammation in their blood within just a few weeks. They feed your immune system through your gut. Here's something that surprises most people. About 70% of your immune system actually lives in and around your digestive system. The trillions of bacteria living in your gut are not just for digestion. They are deeply connected to how well your immune system fights cancer. Walnuts are exceptional food for the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Studies have shown that eating walnuts regularly increases the populations of the most helpful bacteria and decreases the harmful ones. And when those beneficial bacteria are well fed, they produce compounds that make your entire immune system, including your cancer-fighting police force, more effective. You're not just eating a snack, you're feeding your internal army. Raw versus roasted. Roasting walnuts at high temperatures damages the healthy fats and reduces their protective power. Buy raw walnuts. If you want a little warmth to them, toast them very lightly at low temperature for a few minutes. No more than that. Store them in the fridge. The healthy fats in walnuts can go bad at room temperature, especially in warm weather. Rancid walnuts don't just taste unpleasant. The damaged fats are actually inflammatory, which is the opposite of what you want. The dose. 12 to 14 walnut halves, roughly what fits in the palm of your hand. Every day. That's it. Food number 5, green tea, 3 cups daily. But you've almost certainly been making it wrong. Green tea has been drunk in Asia for thousands of years. Japanese populations, who drink more green tea than almost anyone on the planet, have significantly lower rates of several cancers. A major study following over 40,000 Japanese people for 11 years found that women who drank 5 or more cups a day had a 42% lower risk of certain cancers compared to those who drank almost none. That is an enormous difference from a drink. The active compound responsible is called EGCG. You don't need to remember the full name. Just know that it works in 3 important ways. It cuts off cancer's food supply. Remember how cancer needs to build its own blood vessels to grow? EGCG blocks the signal cancer uses to start building those vessels. It's like jamming the radio frequency cancer uses to call for construction. No signal gets through, no blood vessels get built. It reactivates the self-destruct button in cancer cells. Just like curcumin and turmeric, EGCG helps restore the mechanism that tells dangerous, abnormal cells to destroy themselves instead of continuing to divide. And remarkably, it does this specifically to cancer cells without harming the healthy cells around them. It puts a limit on how many times cancer cells can divide. Normal cells can only divide a certain number of times before they stop. It's a natural safety mechanism. Cancer cells bypass this limit. They can divide indefinitely. EGCG suppresses the mechanism cancer uses to bypass this limit. It essentially puts the countdown clock back on cancer cells that had removed it. The brewing mistake that destroys most of the benefit. Most people make green tea by pouring boiling water directly onto the tea bag. This is the single biggest mistake you can make with green tea. Boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius destroys the EGCG. You're essentially cooking away the most important part of the tea before it even reaches your cup. The correct water temperature is between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius. The easy way to achieve this: boil your kettle, then let it sit for exactly 3 minutes before pouring. That's it, 3 minutes. That simple step preserves most of the protective compounds. Steep for 3 to 5 minutes, then drink. One more important rule: do not add milk. The proteins in milk grab onto the EGCG and prevent your body from absorbing it. You can add lemon. Lemon actually helps your body absorb EGCG better. But milk cancels out most of the benefit. What about matcha? Matcha is powdered green tea. You're consuming the whole leaf, not just a steeping. 1 cup of matcha is roughly equivalent to 8 to 10 cups of regular green tea in terms of protective compounds. If you don't want to drink 3 cups of tea daily, 1 cup of matcha in the morning is a powerful alternative. Caffeine note: green tea has less caffeine than coffee, but it's not caffeine-free. If you're sensitive to caffeine, stick to morning and early afternoon cups and avoid drinking it in the evening. Food number 6, pomegranate, 8 ounces of pure juice daily. One of the most underrated foods on this list. Pomegranate is not talked about nearly as much as it deserves to be. The research behind it, particularly for prostate cancer and for strengthening immune function, is genuinely impressive. Let me explain what it does in simple terms. It slows cancer growth measurably. A clinical study, meaning a study done on real patients, not just in a laboratory, gave men who had already been treated for prostate cancer 8 ounces of pomegranate juice every day. These men had rising cancer markers after treatment, which usually signals the cancer is returning and growing. After drinking pomegranate juice regularly, the rate at which their cancer markers were rising slowed down dramatically. In some men, it stopped rising altogether. The cancer was growing more slowly. From juice. This doesn't mean pomegranate cures prostate cancer, but slowing the growth rate of a returning cancer measurably and consistently is a significant finding from a dietary study. It cuts off cancer's blood supply from multiple directions. We've talked about how different foods block cancer's ability to build blood vessels. Pomegranate blocks this process through more pathways simultaneously than almost any other food studied. It doesn't just block one entry point, it blocks several at once. Think of it as not just locking the front door of a building, but also the back door, the side doors, and the windows. It feeds the bacteria most connected to cancer immunity. This is newer research, and it's exciting. Scientists have identified a specific bacterium in your gut called Akkermansia that is strongly associated with how well your immune system fights cancer. In a major study published in one of the world's top scientific journals, cancer patients who had high levels of this bacterium in their gut responded much better to cancer treatment than those who had low levels. In some patients, it was the difference between the treatment working and not working at all. Pomegranate is one of the best foods known to grow and feed Akkermansia in your gut. You are not just drinking juice. You are cultivating the specific gut bacteria most important for your cancer defenses. Buying the right product. This is critical. Most pomegranate juice products in supermarkets are mostly sugar water with a small amount of pomegranate. They will not give you these benefits. You need 100% pure pomegranate juice with one ingredient on the label: pomegranate juice. Nothing else. Read the label carefully every time you buy it. It should be slightly tart and quite intense in flavor. If it tastes sweet and mild, it's been diluted. Who should be careful? Pomegranate can interact with certain medications, particularly cholesterol medications and blood pressure medications, in a similar way to grapefruit. If you take either of these, check with your doctor before drinking it daily. Food number 7, broccoli sprouts. The most powerful food on this entire list, and almost nobody knows about it. I've saved this one for last because I want you to pay full attention. If you implement only one thing from this video, make it this. Broccoli sprouts are simply young broccoli plants, harvested just 3 to 4 days after the seed sprouts. They look like small bean sprouts with tiny green leaves. They taste mildly peppery. They are, gram for gram, one of the most powerful cancer-fighting foods ever studied. Here's the key fact. Broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more of the protective compound than regular broccoli. 100 times more. That means half a cup of broccoli sprouts gives you the same cancer-fighting benefit as eating 10 to 25 full cups of regular broccoli. You cannot eat enough broccoli. You can easily eat half a cup of sprouts. The compound responsible is called sulforaphane. Let me explain what it does in plain terms. It activates your body's master protection switch. Think of your body as having a master switch for its entire self-protection system. When this switch is on, your body produces hundreds of protective compounds that detoxify dangerous substances, repair damaged cells, reduce inflammation, and protect against cancer. When this switch is off or running low, all those protective systems slow down. Sulforaphane is the most powerful natural activator of this master switch ever identified. When you eat broccoli sprouts, this switch gets turned on within hours, and the effect lasts for days after a single serving. Imagine turning on the most powerful protective system your body has just by eating half a cup of sprouts with your lunch. It targets the most dangerous cancer cells specifically. This is the finding that has genuinely excited cancer researchers. Inside most tumors, there is a small group of cells that are particularly dangerous. These are the cells responsible for cancer coming back after treatment. Chemotherapy and radiation can kill most of a tumor, but these specific cells are highly resistant. They survive, hide, and eventually regrow the cancer, often in a more aggressive form. Sulforaphane in broccoli sprouts specifically targets and attacks these cells. It reduces their ability to survive and regrow. This is not something most foods can do. It is one of the reasons serious cancer researchers consider sulforaphane one of the most important natural compounds ever identified. It was tested on real people in real conditions. Researchers from Johns Hopkins, one of the world's top medical universities, took broccoli sprout drinks to a region in China with extremely high exposure to a powerful natural carcinogen that causes liver cancer. They gave these drinks to local residents and then measured the levels of the carcinogen in their bodies. People who drank the broccoli sprout beverage had 61% less of the carcinogen in their bodies compared to those who didn't. The sprouts were helping their bodies detoxify a cancer-causing substance by 61%. In real people, in real-life conditions, not in a laboratory. How to grow them at home in 3 days. You do not need to find these in a grocery store, though some health food stores do carry them. You can grow them at home for almost no cost. Here is exactly how. Buy broccoli sprouting seeds, available online or at health food stores. Make sure they are labeled specifically for sprouting. Day 1. Put 1 tablespoon of seeds into a glass jar. Cover them with water and let them soak for 8 to 12 hours. Then drain the water out. Day 2. Rinse the seeds with fresh water twice, once in the morning, once in the evening. Drain completely each time. Tilt the jar at an angle so air can circulate and water can drain. Leave it somewhere with indirect light. Day 3 and 4. Keep rinsing twice daily. By day 3 or 4, you'll have small green sprouts 1 to 2 inches tall. They're ready to eat. That's the entire process. 3 to 4 days, almost zero cost. You can have a continuous supply by starting a new batch every few days. The one preparation rule you must follow. Do not cook broccoli sprouts, ever. Heat completely destroys sulforaphane. Everything that makes broccoli sprouts extraordinary is eliminated by cooking them. Eat them raw, on a salad, in a sandwich, blended into a smoothie. If you blend them, let the smoothie sit for 5 minutes before drinking. This gives the protective compounds time to fully activate after the blending breaks down the cell walls. Here's how to fit all 7 foods into a normal day without turning your life upside down. Morning, when you wake up. Make a cup of green tea first thing. Remember, boil the kettle, wait 3 minutes, then pour. Add a squeeze of lemon. While it's steeping, get out a cup of blueberries for breakfast. Mid-morning, make your golden milk, turmeric, black pepper, coconut oil, warm milk. This takes 2 minutes. Drink it as a mid-morning drink instead of a second coffee. Lunch. Add half a cup of raw broccoli sprouts to whatever you're eating. On top of a salad, alongside your main dish, in a wrap. Prepare your garlic 10 minutes before you start cooking. Crush it, leave it, then add it to your food briefly at the end of cooking. Afternoon. Your second and third cups of green tea. This is your afternoon energy without the coffee crash. Dinner. A small handful of raw walnuts before or with your meal. Continue using garlic in your cooking. Evening. 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice. Drink it an hour before bed. Your gut bacteria do their most important work overnight, and you're giving them the best possible fuel. The daily cost. Roughly $3 to $5. Less than a takeaway coffee. I want to end with something honest. These foods are not a magic cure. I have never said they are, and I never will. If you have a cancer diagnosis, your treatment decisions must be made with your doctor, not based on a YouTube video. What these foods are is a genuine, meaningful, affordable way to strengthen the systems your body uses to protect itself every single day. They don't work overnight. They work the same way damage accumulates, slowly, consistently, over time. 1 cup of green tea doesn't change much. 1 cup every day for a year changes everything at the cellular level. After 60, your body's defenses need support they didn't need at 40. That's not a reason to be afraid. It's a reason to be intentional about what you put into your body. Every clove of garlic, every cup of blueberries, every handful of walnuts, every half cup of sprouts. These small daily choices are conversations you're having with your own biology, and your biology responds. You have more control over this than you've been told. Start with 1 food this week. Just 1. Add another the week after. Build it slowly, and it will last. Your body is worth the effort. I'll see you in the next one. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always consult your doctor before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you have an existing health condition or are taking medication.